Hi everyone, welcome online here across Nexstar Nation as we are following the path to the playoff, and we have just learned the four playoff teams for this year's college football playoff, and we're happy to share that with you. I'm Jared Smalley joining you here this afternoon. Again, we've been busy all afternoon trying to book flights and arrange travel and get set for what should be an outstanding playoff this year, and there were changes today. Not major ones, but ones that we certainly thought could happen after the championship games unfolded yesterday. So no dilly-dallying. Here are the four semifinalists. We'll start with the Peach Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Both games we played December 28th. You've got number one, LSU. Yes, the Tigers jumping to the top spot after their brilliant performance in their win over Georgia yesterday in the SEC championship game. What a day for Joe Burrow. It is the Tigers who then get the number 4 seed, Oklahoma, the Big 12 champions. Sooners had to go to overtime to beat Baylor yesterday, but Jalen Hurts and company advance on to the Final Four. So they're back in the playoff. LSU and Oklahoma. There are some offenses on the field that day. Two extraordinary machines churning out yards by the pound this season. In the other semifinal game, it is the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. The Ohio State Buckeyes off their Big Ten victory last night over Wisconsin, a game in which they had to come back from a 14-point deficit at halftime, and then they put 27 consecutive points on the Badgers. They moved to number 2, likely because of the difficulties they had in that performance last night, and they get merely Clemson Tigers, who've won 28 straight football games. The defending national champions have been nothing short of stellar over these past couple years, and obviously they are a machine right now. You saw what they did last night in the ACC title game when they rolled past Virginia, put up 62 points. We expect them to win. I'm not sure we expected them to win with that kind of severity, but what a team they've got. Trevor Lawrence at quarterback had a slow start to the year. He's come on strong. Travis Etienne's as good a running back as anybody has, and their defense, a top 5 defense in the country, loaded with potential NFL talent. Those are two stellar matchups in this year's college football playoff. We'll take a little bit of a deeper look at all four teams involved here. When you look at LSU and what they did last night, it was true theater. I mean, Joe Burrow is going to win the Heisman Trophy now. It's just that simple. 4 touchdown passes yesterday, even running the football with. He's a better athlete than people give him credit for. Joe's a really good player, and he was able to keep drives alive for LSU against an excellent defense from Georgia. So credit LSU for moving to that number 1 spot. Curious to see what Oklahoma does defensively. That seems to be the one group in these 4 teams that you look at, offense, defense, might not be to a playoff caliber. But Oklahoma's defense had to make some big plays yesterday against Baylor, and they did answer that call. They've had moments this year, certainly an improved group with Alex Grinch at the helm there in Oklahoma, an improved group over where they were last year. But they are still not, for their body of work over the 13 games, still not at the quality of the other 3 teams in the playoff this year. So that'll be interesting to see if they can perform at a level good enough to slow down LSU's potent offense. But I'd be rather surprised if they did. I think LSU has a great shot to be in the national championship game. They'll be playing in the same building where they just played yesterday, the SEC championship. So familiarity with the venue is certainly not a problem there. Looking at the other game now, Ohio State, when you look at what they did yesterday, real struggles in the first half. They gave up nearly 300 yards to Wisconsin in the first half, a sign of breaking from this defense. Over the last 2 weeks, you consider Michigan threw for 250 yards in the first half on Ohio State. Wisconsin running the football with not only their running back, Jonathan Taylor, but their quarterback, Jack Cohn, and they're moving the football down the field with ease on Ohio State. Stunning to see that. The difference has been the Buckeye offense has made up the difference. They couldn't last night. They really struggled. Justin Fields not very sharp in the first half, and they didn't get the running game going very much. Second half was complete role reversal. The defense simply dominant against the run game. Jonathan Taylor extremely limited after the first half. And then Dobbins gets going. And they have so many receiving threats at Ohio State. It's just so stressful on a defense. And that's what Clemson's going to have to try to handle here. Clemson has not faced a team this year who can stress you out offensively the way Ohio State can. So that'll be the curiosity of that matchup. But those are 2 phenomenal teams. Excellent coaching. Obviously, you know what Dabo Swinney's history is with Clemson. He's been playing the underdog card all year. It's amazing. A team that's won 28 in a row, calling themselves the underdog. Oh, nobody thinks little old Clemson can win. it's a motivational tactic, and it obviously has his team motivated here toward the back end of the year. They've looked really, really good. So those are the two matchups. Again, December 28th, that's a Saturday, both of those games. The kickoff times of those games have not been announced yet. We'll expect those around maybe an hour from now from the playoff committee. But if you're looking at it just from a realistic standpoint, your better matchup is 2 versus 3, Ohio State Clemson, and it's out west in Phoenix. In all likelihood, that's going to be your primetime kickoff. So you're probably going to have an afternoon kickoff with LSU Oklahoma and then an evening kickoff with Ohio State Clemson. A little history there. Ohio State Clemson have played in the Fiesta Bowl in the playoff before. It was a few years ago, that 2016 season, where the Buckeyes had a very nice year in the Big Ten, did a good job, got to the playoff, and Clemson thumped them out there. As a matter of fact, Ohio State has never beaten Clemson. So that's an interesting backstory, and there's a little history, especially in bowl games, between these two teams. In the modern era, with Urban Meyer, for example, taking over when he came to be the coach at Ohio State in 2012. The next year, that 2013 season, they went to the Orange Bowl and played Clemson there. And Dabo at that point is really starting to build Clemson. And Clemson has Taj Boyd, Sammy Watkins, great players, and they go on and beat Ohio State in a wild Orange Bowl game. It really came down to who'd have the football last, and Clemson won that game. So the Buckeyes have tried to climb this mountain before, and they'll try once more at the home of Camelback Mountain out in Phoenix. So that's something we'll keep our eyes on in terms of the matchups there. So again, LSU Oklahoma, that is your matchup in the Peach Bowl, and it is Ohio State Clemson in what should be a dynamite Fiesta Bowl. I would presume that's the later kickoff. We'll find out officially later on. For all of our viewers here across the country, appreciate you joining us here this afternoon on Path to the Playoff. Now we know the destination. Get your flights booked, your hotels, all that good stuff. If you're watching us locally here in Columbus on NBC4i.com, stay tuned right here because you'll soon be hearing from Ryan Day, the Ohio State head coach. He'll be giving his comments about the Buckeyes and their destination now to the Fiesta Bowl. So that is the latest on the Path to the Playoff. Thanks so much for joining us here online across Nexstar Nation.